This program brought to you by the Laugh Garage Comedy Club and Adult Diapers, so now you can go during the show.
Joining me on tonight's show, I've got to say warning first that there will be sexual references. There'll be a lot of sexual references. Sexual references, I've already had 3 of them right then saying it. Because we have sexologists with us, Dr. Nikki Goldstein. Now, if you feel like you're going to... whoa. Don't get excited too soon. If you feel like you're going to be offended, probably turn off. And if you feel like you're going to be turned on, stay tuned. Okay? Also, we have Lindsay Webb, comedian, all on tonight's show, coming up. Wow, you guys are a lively audience. You should have seen last night's audience, much worse. They were dead. It's like they hadn't even been drinking. You know, speaking of drinking and a segue, that tequila, now a lot of people don't like tequila, so they've now got different flavours. There's now a coffee-flavoured tequila. Really? Yes, I know. You were stunned into silence and couldn't believe it. I'm with you there. But I thought, imagine the coffee-flavoured tequila. The poor worm at the bottom of the jar is pissed, but he can't sleep. Wank. It's like when you have kava. Anyone here had kava at all? You know, yeah. See, that's a laugh of recognition right there. Kava is it stays with you forever, doesn't it? You could have kava 3 years ago and then burp in the middle of the day 3 years later and just go, oh, kava. I was also, this isn't my first job, I've had a lot of jobs. I was a funeral photographer for a while. Yeah, you don't see many of them, do you? Wedding photographer, yes. Funerals, no. It's like very hard to get people to smile. Well, hard for most of them. You can get one to smile, you just, you know. No, that's bad. But funny. Hey, have you noticed now, everyone's on Facebook, I guess, and you sleep with the phone by the bed? Do you? Everyone does. It's addictive, isn't it? I don't smoke, but I figure I've got the addiction of a smoker that I go for it first thing in the morning. You know, when your phone's by your bed, who texted me last night? Nobody. You know why? Because they were sleeping too. Someone gave me some chocolate before. So, excuse me. Nuts in the chocolate. Not mine. Coming up on tonight's show later on, we have comedian Lindsay Webb, and after the break, we'll be joined by sexologist. Oh, doesn't that sound nice? Dr. Nikki Goldstein. Welcome back to the show. Now, my first guest is a sexologist, which is why I've written more notes for this person than any other guest. It's like, we'll see where we get, but please put your hands together and welcome Dr. Nikki Goldstein, everybody. You're right. Oh, I kissed a sexologist.
Thank you. That should be a song.
It should be.
I kissed a sexologist and I liked it.
Oh, it's nice. You know, I don't want to kiss a male sexologist.
They exist.
Yeah.
Very few.
But
So we need more in the profession. So if you want to change...
what?
We'll change professions.
Oh, right, yeah.
If this all fails...
Oh, no, I think this one's going great.
Okay, just in case this all fails for you,
Yeah.
you can be my sexological assistant.
Yeah, well, I'd like to be an assistant. Do we get to experiment and things like that?
You might.
Oh.
I'll give you all the dirty work.
That's the stuff I want. Yeah, no, that's different. If you're a labourer, I'll give you the dirty work. Nah, bugger that. No, I won't say bugger that. You're wrong. Now, the times have changed a bit because a lot of people here may remember Dr. Ruth. Was she a sexologist?
Was he? Was she?
Well, I couldn't remember.
Yeah, she was a sexologist,
Yeah.
but obviously from a different era. So you can be a sex therapist, but the new term is we're calling ourselves sexologists or sex researchers. So we're kind of separating ourselves from the stereotypical, therapist. I don't have clients. I don't have an office where I'm seeing people one-on-one or couples. I'm out there, I work with a lot of PR companies, sex toy companies, I do a lot of media work, speaking events, so I get to do the fun stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Dr. Ruth kind of gets to do or has done the boring stuff, but she's making her way around now, and she also has a alcohol range, I believe.
Really? Well,
Yeah,
she's getting
for
to that age, you
seniors.
probably need a drink to have a look at it, wouldn't you? Yeah.
Well, it's for seniors, so they can. It's got a lower percentage of alcohol, so they can drink, but they can still have their sexual abilities.
All right, because sometimes that doesn't work when you're drunk.
Yes, don't drink too much.
Yeah. Well, it may help some people.
It's about 2 drinks is the rule. So if you're feeling a little bit nervous, you're maybe the first time with a partner or something like that, 2 drinks can help you relax, or if you've got a really good tolerance, maybe a bit more. But once you get to that point where you start to get sloppy and you lose all motor control, say goodbye to any
I
A's
was
in
like
the
other
bedroom.
people. Other people just went, oh yeah, that's
We've
That's
all
what we
had
want.
that one partner where we're like, 5 drinks ago, you would have been great.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden, turned off.
Sorry, you're not
Yeah.
getting that booty call
Yeah.
again.
But there seem to be more women, like I said, Ruth, yourself. Are there males out there talking about this, or is that
There's
just a bit
few
creepy?
of them. It is one of those things that when we had, our classrooms, I think we had about 3 or 4 males with 20 women. So,
Hang on. Yeah, okay.
that was a classroom, an
Yeah.
academic classroom. And most of those were gay males. And it was really sad that we only had one straight man who was brave enough to come against all us women and discuss his sexuality. So it's one of those really difficult things, because how do you talk to men about sex? Women, it's very easy.
We know about sex. We don't need to be
Well, that's
spoken
it. You
to.
think you know everything.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We're trained up. Why are the women laughing now?
Because there's someone in the audience that you've probably had sex with that's going, he needs to know more. I know what those laughs mean.
Which one? So now, but women talking about sex, that's become that's pretty open now, isn't it? They never used to. Women never had orgasms before, did they?
Well, they did, but they didn't talk about it, and not as many did. So we kind of had the Sex and the City era. Women all of a sudden
didn't
decided...
that change everything? Holy crap, that was
all these women decided that they could go into shops and buy vibrators and very openly say that they were dating multiple people. That was okay, tick. Then we got 50 Shades of Grey. Totally different scenario. Now we have all these women saying, I want to experiment, I want to explore. Personally, if I hear 50 Shades of Grey one more time, it does kind of give me a bit of a shiver, because I deal with it so often. But the one thing it is doing is that all these people now are talking about such taboo subjects so openly.
Yeah.
Since when did you hear, the Housewives Committee talking about bondage and, did you read that scene, and she did that to him. So we've kind of graduated from just vibrators and dating multiple
See, women
people.
should tell us about that, not each other. That would help it.
This is why then you've got to read the book.
Oh, no thanks. I have the internet. Now, like I said, I have got so many things to ask, and we've got such a short amount of time. I might just flick through and go like, I'll see what sort of pops out.
Okay.
Well, but why do some people consider sex to be dirty?
Their upbringing. It's one of those things about religious, where did they come from a very religious family? Did they go to a school where they were taught that abstinence was the only form of safe sex and not to have sex till they're married? These are things as a child that really get drilled into them, and then as an adult, it's very hard to then tell someone otherwise.
Oh, it's horrible, isn't it, to think about?
Well, it's
No, I mean,
sad.
it's horrible to think about that. You've got to be, not be able to do that.
Not have sex. But there are some people out there who do believe that sex is supposed to be between a man and a woman and only in marriage. And they come across me and they kind of, run the opposite direction.
Too many innuendos in this chat. Is there such a thing as a sexoholic?
You mean a sex addict?
Yeah.
There is and there isn't.
Because
So
I think everyone, if you had the chance, you would be, but
It's one of those things that you can have. I call it a healthy sexual appetite. Other people may call it a sexoholic or a sex addiction. But what we say is that when it becomes a problem for the individual, so we can't define, like, you might be having
What would
sex.
be the problem?
Well, you know.
I'm totally confused.
Well, it's one of those things. If you can't hold down a job because you're out in pursuit of sex 5 days a week, it's a problem. If you can't pay the bills because you're spending all your money paying prostitutes, it's a problem.
Oh, I thought you meant like getting real women. Oh. No, not that. I mean, like not paying. I mean, I know they are women, but
You're
not
just digging
not
that
paying.
hole.
No, yeah, no, yeah. I don't know why I wrote down the word swingers here.
Is there a question
I don't
or
know,
is that
but
just a
maybe I
statement?
just do like that word association. When I say swingers, what do you think?
Multiple people having fun.
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 Wow.
It's a very interesting, I actually studied the non-monogamous community, so that was my research assignment for the degree. And I got to go and interview these people and discuss with them, you know, how this all worked and were they satisfied, did they get jealous? And it was one of the most fascinating things because everyone sees that part of the community as, you know, throw your keys in the bowl and go home with another partner because your own relationship is failing. So what I found was quite the opposite, and it did, you know, pinch a nerve with a lot of people because for me to actually get up and say, hey, I've done the research and these people are, you know, in successful relationships and this can work for some people, it really didn't sit well with you know, people that were quite traditional and in a relationship between, you know, a man and a woman, that's it. So I'm not saying everyone should do it.
Well, what if you're a swinger but you took public transport? How do you? What do you throw into the bowl?
I think maybe your train ticket.
Oh,
But that's another myth, is that people don't throw their keys in the bowls anymore. But
Valentine's Day, is that a scam or not?
created by Hallmark.
Yes.
But I think, you know, you should tell your partner that you love them and do something nice for them 365 days of the year, not just one.
Yeah. Now, because you're a researcher, though, you might be like a comic. Now, we keep a note by the side of the bed, and you wake up in the middle of the night, think, oh, there's a funny joke, and you write it down. Do you have a pad next to your bed that after sex you just roll over and start, you know, right there, and start, and then the bloke's just lying there going, well, hey, what are you doing? And he's like, oh, nothing.
That's why you have an iPhone and the notes page.
Oh.
Because you can pretend that you're sending text messages or
were you
a tweet.
Were you really taking pictures?
Tweet. Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, tweeting. Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Sexting, that's the next
Yeah,
question.
sexting. Boy, I was in a mood when I wrote this. Oh, hang on, no. Oh,
Well, why are you umming and ahhing?
No, because
I
I'm-
planted a gift for you somewhere under the chair.
Hello? I was
here
going
we
to say
go.
aphrodisiacs and food, sex and food. What's that sort of
Well,
relationship?
here's a
there?
question for you.
Okay, yes.
Okay, so I always bring presents to people who interview me because one of the perks of the jobs is a lot of these companies give me samples. Now, I don't have a penis, so I can't sample these, so I have a lot of these laying around the house. So this is a Japanese... This is a Japanese product.
Yes.
And it is a male masturbatory sleeve. So what it actually is, inside the egg, there's a silicone sleeve with a little bit of lube in the middle. So what you do is it's a one-time use thing.
Oh, right. So, okay.
So on one side, they're all kind of ridged and feels all nice.
This
The other
all
side's
fits into
very
here?
Yeah, it stretches. So the idea is that guys can use these on their own, but you can also use them within a relationship. So I've said to women in the past, because a lot of women are like, oh, not tonight, I've got a headache, I don't need to do this. I said, well, you can use something like this. You can still do something to pleasure him. And because you have to hold the outside, it's a mess-free zone, and you just throw it away. So
right, okay, well.
these are my... And it doesn't look like a sex toy. So if,
Oh, of course, no,
if
not at all.
someone finds that...
Yeah, I would have done the opposite thing that you just said. Looking at that, and this is a sex toy, I would have gone, well...
Where does it go?
Yeah.
Where does it get inserted?
That's right. But I love how it's got easy beat egg. That's nice.
And these are very rare. You can't get these in Australia.
Can't get these in Australia. Well, I don't know if women have heard of this, but
design.
us guys, we have thumbs.
Yeah.
And now, okay, we've got the questions to ask you. We've got some questions to ask you to see if you know these answers already. Now, I've pulled these out of nowhere, really. Okay. According to the British Journal of Urology International, that's international, I know, massive. The average size of a man's private part is what?
Ooh. So...
Remember, this is the British Journal.
Do you know what? I'm actually going to say that I found so many contradicting numbers for this one. And I'm going to answer that by saying size doesn't matter.
It matters to us. Not ours, I mean yours.
Hang on.
I mean, not yours personally. Okay, anyway, all right.
I'm hoping I don't
All
have
right, anyway, okay. Well, apparently this one here, 5.5 to 6.2 inches. That doesn't sound very big, does it?
Well, is that flaccid or erect?
Oh, man.
See, I've been through a lot of I've been through a lot of these different studies, and the problem is it flaccid or is it erect? And are they relying on the guy to actually measure it themselves, or is it someone else measuring? Because there was one study that came out, but the problem was that they left it up to the individuals with a ruler to measure. Yeah. What guy is actually with a small penis is actually going to measure and say, oh, actually, I'm X size. They're going to add a little bit extra onto
a lot of people measure it, they say you're meant to measure it from the top. I measure mine from underneath all the way around to the back of my neck.
In your case, size does matter.
Yeah. Okay. All right. All right, the audience is having too much fun. What we're going to do now is we're going to take a break. After the break, we'll have Lindsay Webb joining us. Please thank one more time Nicki Goldstein, everybody. Please put your hands together for Lindsay Webb, everybody.
Thank you. Thanks very much. It's very nice. It's very nice. I've been sitting backstage watching the show and I saw that sexologist and I don't know what she thinks of me, but she gave me a dozen eggs. There are things that I don't understand in the world. There's things we don't understand. I don't understand the grunting in tennis. I understand some grunting when you ask someone, what's that about? And I go, oh yeah, fair enough. In the tennis, it makes no sense. There's one player in particular that annoys me. You know that bender over or whatever her name is? Seems like a fair enough instruction, but I don't understand the noise she makes when she plays the game. She grunts. Every time she hits the ball, she makes a weird sound. It's not even the sort of noise that you make when something's difficult. Like if she hit the ball and went, oh, that's really hard. You go, no, fair enough, she's trying. But that's not the noise she makes. She hits the ball every time, makes a noise like a stung donkey, right? You go, every single time she hits the ball. What does everyone else at the tennis have to do? What do they have to do? Shh, quiet please, quiet please. Shh, shh. And then right at the important moment, surely that's the most important part. Like, surely the girl at the other end from Serbia is just thinking, I've got to hit the ball back. If I don't hit the ball back, I'm back in Serbia getting whipped. And no one complains, not one person, not even the Williams brothers. Even the commentators say it's not distracting. I call bullshit. They bring that Bruce McAvaney out. You know him, he loves the tennis. He's watching the game, someone else says, oh, that's a bit distracting. He goes, oh, no, I call rubbish. Next time you're sitting in the back of a car, travelling in the highway at night, right? You're in the back seat, just lean forward to the driver at random. No need to report back, I know what happens. I'm watching a men's game, it's just normal. 15 all. Normal, right? They stop the game. Stop the game. There's too much noise coming from outside the tennis centre. At first, I'm thinking, great, Bender Over's got a root. And then I thought, wouldn't it be ironic if she made no noise when she was getting a root? It kind of makes sense. It wasn't her, though. It wasn't her. 9 kilometres away from the tennis centre, there were fireworks. Do you know what 9 kilometre away fireworks sound like? That is it. They stopped the game. That's ridiculous. She's making more noise banging her balls over a net than I do banging my own balls over a net. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Lindsay Webb, everybody. Stick around. We're going to have a chat with Lindsay after the break. The clap thing just happens to cover the bit between the commercial break and getting back here, really, doesn't it? There's
It's
no
almost
real...
like people really enjoy the commercial break.
Yeah, they were. The commercials are over. Thank you. Well done. No, your travels. Now, what happened to you in the UK?
Well, it was more what happened when I got back from the UK. I don't know that we've talked about this before privately, but it's a pretty fun story. I was at the Edinburgh Fringe Festival, which you probably know of. It's pretty big. And I came back into Australia, and I live in Brisbane, which is not the busiest international airport in the world, and they get bored. Yeah. They get bored there. And I've come through customs, I'm waiting for my bag, and one of those friendly dogs has come up for a pat. Turns out that's not what they're coming up for. He came up and I thought it was just a friendly dog. It's jumped up on me and it's, I'm like, and he's like, don't touch the dog. I'm like, all right, fair enough, all right. And then they take when you come into the country, they give you a little slip to get past customs where you declare your stuff. And he looks at mine and goes, all right, just go and wait over there. And just go and wait over there is not what you want to hear at customs. Like you want to hear, welcome back to Australia, Mr. Webb. Yeah. You want to hear, how was your trip? Good on you, go home, you've probably got your family waiting. They assume you're guilty from the beginning, and that's the game they play. They're putting the hard clamp down on you to try and get you to crack, right? Yeah. Now, I've been in the UK for a month as a working comedian at a festival. I've just come home. I want to get outside to my family at the time. I've got young children. I'm keen. You've been away for a month. I was very happy to be home. They're like, no, we need to look through your bags. I'm like, all right, that's fine, because I know there's nothing in there. I've been away for a month, right? So I've jammed all my stuff back in the bag. She's come back and gone, you look a bit nervous. I'm like, yeah, it took me 2 hours to pack that, and you're throwing it everywhere. As soon as they realise you don't have anything on you, they're like, oh, would you like to complain at all about the way that you've been treated this afternoon? I said, no, I'd just like to speak to the dog.
You got a special tonight with the DVD?
Yes, I'd really like to give everyone one of these, like the Oprah show. I'd like to give everyone one. Yeah. Unfortunately, that's the only one I was able to bring along. Customs have got the rest of them.
Yeah, so just take down each other's names and numbers and pass it around, okay, when you go home. Ladies and gentlemen, please thank Lindsay Webb for me.
Thank you. Thanks, buddy.
Thanks. Also, Dr. Nicki Goldstein earlier. We'll see you again. Good night.
This program brought to you by the Laugh Garage Comedy Club and Adult Diapers, so now you can go during the show.